The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. A while back, I did a video back in the before time about who is a character's creator. And the genesis of the mail was basically this controversy that T. Franklin claimed credit as a character's creator, but she wasn't the character's creator, somebody else was. And then it opened up we got past that part, and it opens up to kind of a more interesting question, which is, comic books are an ongoing, ever living narrative. And so a character's creator kind of, it needs more than just a simple answer of who did it first. So, the example here would be, you take a character like Wolverine, okay? And Wolverine has had kind of dramatic changes through the years with a lot of different parts of his past, his origin, and all kinds of different things. He had hot claws, remember? So at some point when you say, who is the creator of Wolverine, you have to almost caveat that by saying the original creator of Wolverine, was one person, but key moments of the character's history and life and evolution were, founded by these people. And unfortunately, that could get pretty long and complex and complicated with comic characters because you have these ongoing narratives and, who's to say what a big moment is or not. So take Peter Parker's Spider-Man, character created by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko. Okay, but there have been major moments in that character's life. Is the Spider-Man today that's running around the same one that was originally created by Ditko and Lee? No. The characters had a lot of evolution, but what? And who do you credit? You can't credit every single writer who's ever written, there, but should you credit J.M. DeMatteis? Should you credit, who do you ultimately come in? Dan Slott did a big, long run on the character. Now, if you look at Dan Slott's run, and this may be kind of an ugly way of looking at it, but if I look at the start of Dan Slott on the character and the end of Dan Slott on the character, was there anything that happened? There may have been stories that were powerful, good, complex, everything else, but did the character fundamentally change? Meaning, is the Peter Parker at the end of Dan Slott's run a radically different character than the beginning of Dan Slott's run? I would argue probably not. Was there a major status quo change? Yes, there were many during his run, but he kind of packaged up everything and put it back in the box. Whereas a character like Deadpool has had decent, you look at when the character first was introduced to the character today, very different. Now, Rob Liefeld contributed to a lot of his changes. But anyway, it's a thornier topic, and it's actually a good one worth debating and talking about. But let's read this mail. It says, Dear Perch, in your video entitled, Who is a Character's Creator? Many writers, including me, based our creations on real people, including family, friends, teachers, associates, famous people, important people, and others. So this part of human nature as verbal, this is a part of human nature as verbal and vision storytellers. Makes sense. My pushback is the case of late Bill Finger and how he was the one who singly invented one of the most recognizable and known IP properties in the world. Batman creator was not the late Bob Kane. Yes, I'll watch the Bill Finger documentary. Whatever the reason why the late Bob Kane took sole credit for Batman may never be certain. I think it's pretty certain he wanted the credit. Like, it was money and ego. Of all the controversies around Bob Kane, I think the idea was, Kane believed that he had more, or he had a kind of a right to take credit, and he did. And he made money and fame off of that. So I think it's really that simple, where at least the Kane figure scenario is. Anyway, we can get back to it. It says, in the last couple of years, DC Comics, which back then was known as National Comics, have finally given Bill Finger the credit he finally deserves. And in my opinion, he should have gotten that credit when he was alive. Agreed. Now that DC Comics is doing the right thing in crediting characters, Am I wrong in pointing out the Bill Finger situation to you, Perch? Thank you for your time, and don't mean to bore you with it. No, you don't. I think, there's PS. PS, mainly both the writer and artists are credited as creators since both of them work in cooperation. Um, you know, unless it's the same person. And then sometimes the credit goes to an editor. Look, I think if you're talking about the Bill Finger situation, absolutely, he did a lot of work on the character. A sole creator. I don't know if that's completely true, either. And definitely, the character of Batman evolved significantly over the years. So he definitely deserves to be called a creator. But who else deserves to be called a creator? In more modern terms, because there's been a lot of Batman creators over the years, but we look at long runs by Scott Snyder, and we look at long runs by Tom King, James Tynion. Of those three creators, should any of them be listed as a creator of Batman? Well, let's look at each one. So Snyder took Batman into the New 52, arguably kind of retconned parts of his origin and did new things with him. And the character of Batman was, arguably different under Snyder. Snyder created the Batman Who Laughs and a bunch of other kind of people in the multiverse and kind of the Court of Owls and all the rest. So, maybe the right way to do it is say, Scott Snyder contributed to Batman and was a creator of Court of Owls. Okay. Now to Tom King. Well, what about Tom King? Well, he created a lot of the aspects of the Bat-Cat relationship. It existed. So, sorry, don't get me wrong in this video. The Bat-Cat relationship existed certainly before Tom King, but he pushed it to a new level. Whether you like that level or not, is open to debate, but he definitely changed the character in that respect. He introduced kind of new areas of the Joker, Riddler war and kind of other. There's a bunch of little pieces that he did. He got Thomas Wayne kind of back into the picture, did the whole stuff with Bane, killed off Alfred. You could make an argument that, Tom King actually made a lot of, substantive changes to Batman. Would you credit Tom King as Batman's creator? I would not. So I think the whole thing is a little bit dodgy. Absolutely, I believe that Bill Finger deserved to get credit for what he correctly did, and it was stolen from him, and it was wrong. What happened? But I think unless you say character originally created by, and then list the original creators, probably the right way to do it. There probably does need to be some crediting that gets done in the comic at some point around, here's how the character, here are the various people who evolved the characters over the years. I don't know. I'm curious how you all would solve this situation. So in the comments, how do you fix this? And again, we talked about it before, but what is the line exactly to who a creator of a character is? I think if you make major changes, like the creator of Speedball, who I believe was Steve Ditko, memory serves. If you look at, Speedball as penance during the Civil War time and, post Civil War, I guess, and just other aspects of the character, the Speedball of today is nothing like the Speedball Steve Ditko created. So when you're saying character created by, you're really saying the original character is created by this person, but there's been major changes. And who are the people responsible for those? And should those people be credited? One of the things you could make an argument for is there's a lot of kind of comic writers over the last 30 years who have made, really great positive stories and really changed and impacted characters' lives, things we will remember forever. I mentioned earlier, the DeMatteis and Kraven's Last Hunt is a classic kind of legendary story in Spider-Man lore. How should that be treated? Is it okay to just say, well, he wrote a really awesome story for Spider-Man? I have nothing wrong with that. But if later creators are going to come around and utilize that work as part of kind of how they write the character and kind of the mythology of everything that's happened, then I feel like you need to, on some level, start, crediting him for more than just a great story in Kraven's Last Hunt. I don't know. Anyway, in the comments below, how do you handle it? What do you do? Is it probably I'm making this too complicated? Maybe it's just as simple as, hey, it's the original creator and everything that follows is what follows. That's fine too. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course, and thanks for listening.